In 1953, Chevrolet unveiled what would become America's most legendary sports car. Almost no one knows it nearly died before its second birthday. A secret project codenamed Opal, a fiberglass body the industry mocked. Dealers flooded GM with telegrams demanding they kill it, and one engineer's 3-page memo that saved everything. 51 Corvette facts most enthusiasts have never heard, starting inside a locked studio that wasn't supposed to exist. Inside a windowless studio in Detroit, Harley Earl worked his magic, far from the prying eyes of GM brass and union watchdogs. He called it Project Opal, a name borrowed from GM's German outpost to throw off any snoops. Earl was not just dreaming up another car, he was orchestrating a secret rebellion against the safe, staid world of 1950s American sedans. His vision was a 2-seat roadster so daring and different that it would make Chevrolet the talk of every main street in America. Fiberglass was his chosen weapon, not steel, not aluminum, fiberglass. No one in Detroit took it seriously. The material was seen as a novelty, good for boats and bathtubs, not the body of a brand new sports car. But Earl saw potential. Fiberglass meant wild curves, hidden seams, and a body that would not rust. More importantly, it meant GM could skip the millions required for steel stamping dies, critical for a car that might never sell in big numbers. By January 1953, Earl's gamble rolled onto the polished floor of the Waldorf Astoria for Motorama. The crowd gawked at its low, rakish lines and futuristic skin. Here was a car that looked like a spaceship when most family cars still wore tail fins. Only 300 would be built that first year, each one hand-assembled, each one a rolling experiment. The Corvette was America's first mass-produced car with a plastic body, a move that would inspire awe, confusion, and later, a mountain of headaches as GM struggled to turn show car fantasy into production reality. But on that day in New York, Harley Earl stood grinning, having pulled off the automotive equivalent of a magic trick, daring the world to imagine what could come next. Chevrolet dealers wasted no time making their frustrations known. Telegrams poured in from across the country, all echoing the same message. The Corvette's 150 horsepower Blue Flame 6 was no match for the European competition or the hot-rodded Fords prowling the streets. Some dealers called it a toy, others warned that buyers were walking away, unimpressed by a sports car that looked the part but could not back it up. The pressure built until it reached the desk of Zora Arkus Duntov, a Russian-born engineer with a racing pedigree and a knack for shaking up the status quo. On December 16, 1953, Duntov fired off a 3-page memo titled Thoughts Pertaining to Youth, Hot Rodders, and Chevrolet. He did not mince words. Duntov argued that Chevrolet was missing out on the entire youth market, the same crowd who built their dreams in backyard garages and worshipped horsepower above all. If the Corvette did not get a V8, he warned, it would never earn their respect. Duntov was not content with just words. He built the EX87 test mule, a one-off Corvette fitted with a prototype 265 cubic inch small block V8. In 1955, he took the car to the Arizona Proving Grounds and pushed it to 163 miles per hour. That speed shattered the old image of the Corvette as a stylish pretender. The message landed, Chevrolet gave the green light to the V8, and the 1955 Corvette rolled out with a 265 cubic inch engine under the hood. Suddenly, the car had teeth. The V8 did not just save the Corvette from cancellation, it set the tone for every Corvette that followed, bold, brash, and built to outrun doubt. Duntov's intervention turned a struggling experiment into the foundation of America's sports car legacy. By the end of 1954, the Corvette's future hung by a thread. Only 3,640 cars had been built, and hundreds sat unsold on dealer lots, gathering dust beside the sedans they were meant to outshine. Executives debated pulling the plug entirely. The boardroom arguments grew heated. Some saw the Corvette as a costly distraction, others as a branding lifeline. The numbers were grim, warranty costs soared, defect rates plagued the early fiberglass bodies, and even a price cut to $3,295 couldn't clear the backlog fast enough. In a last-ditch effort, Chevrolet halted production for 90 days, slashed prices, and begged dealers to keep the faith. Yet for a handful of true believers, dealers who stood by the car and buyers who took a chance on something so different, those early years planted the seeds of legend. By 1955, only 700 Corvettes left the factory, most equipped with the new V8. Surviving examples from this era became the holy grail for collectors, not because they were the fastest or the best built, but because they almost didn't exist at all. The very scarcity that once threatened the Corvette's life would, decades later, turn these cars into blue-chip collectibles, their near extinction making them more desirable with every passing year. It's a twist of fate. The struggle that nearly doomed the Corvette is exactly what made its earliest models so valuable today. Bill Mitchell set out to make the Corvette unforgettable. His 1963 Stingray Coupe, with its sharp nose and split rear window, looked more like a jet than a car. The split window design was pure spectacle, but it came at a cost. Drivers complained about poor rear visibility, and engineers warned of safety risks. Mitchell held firm until dealer backlash forced Chevrolet to drop the split after just 1 year. That brief run turned the 1963 into a legend, a symbol of style that dared to go too far. Corvette's reputation wasn't built on looks alone. In 1956, a small team took a V8 Corvette to Sebring and scored a class win against Europe's best. By 1960, a Corvette finished Le Mans, proving American muscle could last on the world's toughest tracks. The C5R would later echo that spirit, winning its class at Le Mans in 2001 and 2002. Every race fed lessons back to the street cars, blurring the line between road and track. Astronauts like Neil Armstrong, fresh from the moon, drove Corvettes for just $1 a year, a NASA tradition. Elvis Presley slid behind the wheel for a film cameo, sealing the Corvette's place in American pop culture. Risk, speed, and ambition, all in one car. In the late 1980s, General Motors' top brass locked themselves away, plotting a move that would shake up the supercar world. Project 61 was their secret, an American answer to Europe's best. Chevrolet enlisted Lotus to craft an engine that broke the mold. The LT5, a 5.7-liter, all-aluminum V8 with 4 overhead cams and 32 valves, delivering 375 horsepower. When the ZR1 launched in 1990, it shattered expectations, topping 180 miles per hour and forcing rivals to take notice. Inside General Motors, not everyone was on board. Pontiac, eager for its own spotlight, pushed the Banshee and Fiero, fueling internal rivalries. Budgets shifted, projects disappeared, but the Corvette always survived, shielded by executives who saw it as the company's icon. Collectors soon recognized the Corvette's new status. The 1967 L88, built for the track, broke the $1 million barrier at auction. The ultra-rare 1969 ZL1 later sold for over $1.4 million, with whispers of private deals reaching $3 million. Power, rarity, and racing roots turned these cars into prized assets. Not every innovation worked. In 1975, General Motors' switch to plastic wheel covers ended in disaster, cracking, flying off, and forcing a nationwide recall. Yet each setback only pushed the Corvette further into the world's elite, earning both envy and respect. For decades, the mid-engine Corvette haunted General Motors engineers, a vision always just out of reach. The XP882, revealed at the 1970 New York Auto Show, turned heads with its radical wedge shape and rear-mounted engine, only to be shelved as budgets tightened and oil prices soared. The Aerovette followed in the late 70s, boasting gull-wing doors and a rotary engine, hinting at a future that never quite arrived. As rotary technology faded and fuel crises deepened, the Aerovette joined the list of prototypes left behind. The CER-V3 in the 1990s brought all-wheel drive and computer controls, but again, the project stalled when priorities shifted. In 2007, hope returned. Engineers mapped out a new mid-engine Corvette, but the global financial crisis forced another pause. Years slipped by. Taj Juechter, Corvette's chief engineer, kept the flame alive, rallying his team to pick up where legends like Duntov left off. By 2014, development quietly resumed, culminating in the C8's dramatic debut in Detroit on July 18, 2019. For the first time, a production Corvette placed its engine behind the driver, fulfilling a promise made by generations of prototypes. Juecter's team marked the achievement with a hidden tribute, his name and years of leadership engraved on the driver's sill. It is a quiet salute to a relentless pursuit, a dream realized at last, with history riding alongside. Every Corvette still rolls off the line as an act of American risk and imagination. In a world shifting to electrification and automation, its legacy reminds us, sometimes legends are born from audacity, not certainty. The next chapter is being written now. Thanks for taking this ride with me.